Hello, everybody. Whoops, where's my mic? Here it is. That you're going to see a really weird YouTube video. You're going to see me actually get really, really nervous. Okay, I am, usually, but I did this for an extra credit project for my communications class. Basically, I gave my speech twice, and the tutor went over what I had done wrong, and she helped me work on my tempo and pace, and although the speech isn't perfect, by no means perfect, I can do it better in class, and I'm debating whether I should show the video, or well, an audio presentation with a black screen in class, or when I do the speech in class, I'm debating whether I should splice that out and then show the audio part of it. But you guys have to sit back and imagine. So without further ado, here's my first attempt, and I'll see you when it comes to my second attempt. I'm so nervous. Go ahead and start. Close your eyes and imagine yourself reading the page in front of you with your fingers alone. Can you do it? Well, not with your eyes closed. And that's what I'm going to discuss today. The fact that only 10% of the blind population in Las Vegas, Nevada can read. But first, before I discuss that, I'm going to discuss the history of Braille, and then I'm going to actually discuss the problem. The history of Braille started in about the 12th century when people were trying to come up with ways for the blind to read, starting with raised print. That lasted until about 1812, when Louis Braille was born, and he was using an owl to play with his dad's leather equipment, and he cut himself in the eye, and therefore making him go blind. He got transferred to the school for the blind in Paris, France, and was trying to learn how to read raised print. When he went to a seminar done by a soldier on night Braille, or night writing, he then discovered that that can be a way for the blind to read Braille. 20 years of toil and bouts of TB later, he came up with the system that we know today as Braille. So then, now that I've discussed the history of Braille, I'm now going to discuss one of the problems of Braille and why that's discouraging teachers to read Braille, or teachers to learn Braille. One is the noise. When you do Braille, it is really noisy and can cause problems when you're doing Braille in class. Now that I've discussed that, I'm going to discuss three problems from the National Federation of the Blind's advocacy site on Braille. One of them is not enough teachers. Not enough teachers feel that there are not enough teachers in Las Vegas, Nevada to teach Braille, even though there are classes. Also, there are not enough teachers that feel that it's necessary even to learn Braille. Many teachers who take this class feel that they don't need to teach the student Braille, even though they are holding a large print page 2 inches away from their face and calling it good. Most print-disabled students read at only 8 words a minute when they graduate from high school, and this is not acceptable. According to a presentation that I heard in 2009 at the National Federation of the Blind convention in Las Vegas, Nevada, done by Ron Gardner from Utah, the students who walk out of these classrooms in high school don't need to learn Braille. So that's a big problem right there. Also, according to a presentation that I heard in 2011 in March from the Clark County School District presentation, the student needs to get to be 20/70 or worse to get even services for the blind done in high school and throughout their school career. So this can pose a problem when you're 20/60 and even need braille. So in conclusion, I've discussed the problems abounding and then some causes and effects. So again, close your eyes and imagine yourself reading the printed page with your fingers alone. Can you do it? And I hope that, that first attempt kind of sucked, in my opinion. And in my second attempt of this, I did a lot better according to what she says. But I still skipped a lot of information and I felt like I was going too fast. Now, we'll see what happens tomorrow when I actually get up and do this in front of the class. The same speech that you're going to hear, except I do it better in a class environment. I really don't know why, but I do it a lot better in a class environment for some really strange reason. And sorry about the audio. I'm not going to make any adjustments, but I hope. And you know, if some information's missing, I only have like 5 minutes, so I can't really do much. Yeah, my next speech is going to be a 5 to 8 minute speech, which I'm not looking forward to. I might or might not do it on YouTube, do the audio presentation without the video with the black screen for the class. So yeah, there you go. Here's the second attempt, and enjoy. Close your eyes and see if you can read the printed page. Can you do it? I bet you can't. Well, in the United States, only 10% of the blind population can read Braille. I'm sure the statistic is higher in Las Vegas, Nevada, due to the education system, which I'm going to be discussing in this speech. The main problem, that 10% of the population, of the blind population, can read Braille. But before I do that, I'm going to discuss the history of Braille and how it came about. Braille started in about the 12th century when blind people started to try and learn how to read. They were trying to learn how to read using a method called raised print. According to an article that I read on the Enabling Technologies website, Louis Braille was playing with his dad's leather equipment and he poked his eye and the infection caused him to go blind. Through bouts of TB at the blind school where he was transferred, and because of a seminar that he attended, he invented the method that we now know as Braille, without the W. That came later. So now that I've discussed the history of Braille, I'm going to remind you again that 10% of the blind population can read Braille. And according to a presentation that I went to by the Clark County School District in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Nevada Federation of the Blind meeting, this was in 2011, you can only get assistance if your vision is 20/70 or worse. Now this poses a problem. Also, there are 3 reasons, according to the National Federation of the Blind advocacy site, on why the education system sucks. 1, not enough teachers. 2, not enough good teachers. And 3, not enough teachers think it's necessary. 1 and 2 tie in together. There are classes here in Nevada that can allow teachers to teach Braille. But even though there are teachers who are taking this class, there are not enough teachers that think it is necessary to teach Braille, even with the 20/70 requirement. Most teachers will think that you have to read large print and get a lot of headaches in order to read Braille, and also be a total. According to a presentation that I went to in 2009 at the National Federation of the Blind of Nevada State Convention, done by Ron Gardner, the average high school student graduates reading 8 words a minute, and the average blind person who's learned Braille from elementary through high school and has learned it well can read 120 to 150 words a minute. Most itinerant teachers think that 8 words a minute is a good idea, is a good rate to read at. And again, this is unacceptable, and they're holding the printed page about 2 inches from their face. So in conclusion, I've talked about the inability, the lack of education on the Clark County School District's part, and I've also talked about the cause and the effect of reading 10%, or the 10%, the 10% population that can read Braille. So again, close your eyes and imagine yourself reading the printed page in front of you. Can you do it? And this now is 2 days later. Well, let's see, today's Thursday at the time? Yeah, 2 days later. I finally got around to taking everything off of my Olympus, and I'm in the process, as of now, splicing the heck out of the speech. Now, I'm going to have a black screen photo, I hope. If it's a screenshot on my desktop, well, ignore the crap that's there. Anyway, so I want you to close your eye. Well, you can't see it. There's nothing there. But, you know, it's just an audio file that I'm putting in. But that's what you're going to be seeing, or in this case, not seeing. So for those of you sighted people who are watching my YouTube video, I just want to let you know that your screen isn't broken, and your YouTube Safari Internet Explorer thing, I'm not really versed in these browsers and everything, but your YouTube isn't broken. My YouTube's not broken. I barely use a camera. I use, well, just whatever I have. So enjoy the third and final thing of this speech. I did pretty good in it, actually. A lot of people were very impressed, and I plan on doing this speech at the speech festival coming up on the 9th of December. I won't be able to YouTube it at all, but I plan on doing this exact speech and probably revamping it a little bit. So enjoy. 10% of me can read. 30% of me is employed. That's an excerpt from the National Federation of the Blind commercial that was played in 2009. Actually, it was in 2010 during the promotion of the Louis Braille coin. A scary thought if you think about it. Now, close your eyes and try and read the printed page in front of you with your fingers alone. Can you do it? I thought not. Hi, I'm Sarah Olawami, and I'm going to be discussing a big problem that we have in Nevada amongst the blind community, and that is Braille literacy. Like I said, 10% of the population, of the blind population in the U.S. can read, and I'm sure that that is higher in Vegas due to our education system, which I'll discuss. But first, I'm going to discuss the history of Braille. Starting around the 12th century, people were trying to find ways for the blind to read, including raised print. Excuse me. And in the 1800s, Louis Braille was born in Paris, France, and was playing with an awl, which is used to punch holes in leather. And it slipped and jabbed him in the eye, and one infection led to another, and he finally went blind. He was transferred to the School for the Blind in Paris, France, where he went to a seminar where a soldier was discussing the ability for his soldiers to read this night braille, or this night code, so that they could pass notes back and forth throughout the military lines. This is all according to an article by Enabling Technologies on the Enabling Technologies website. Through bouts of TB and through inspiration through that seminar, Louis Braille came up with the system that we now know as Braille, minus the W, minus the letter W. That came later. as the W was not around in the French language at the time. One problem that led to the resistance of teachers teaching Braille, and is still around today, is the noise. Imagine someone pounding a piece of paper with a hole puncher. That's basically what you hear throughout the duration of someone brailing a document, like this one. Now that I've discussed the history of Braille and some of the problems, I'm going to discuss today why most teachers really don't want to teach Braille. And this is according to the National Federation of the Blind advocacy website. 1, not enough teachers. 2, not enough good teachers. And 3, not enough teachers think it's necessary. Excuse me. 1, not enough teachers. We are understaffed when it comes to, in the Clark County School District, when it comes to teachers teaching Braille. At last count, there were only about 3. And there are about 500 to 1,000 blind students in the Clark County School District. 2, not enough teachers that are trained. We have classes here in Nevada regarding Braille training that you take once a week, but not enough teachers want to take it. And 3, not enough teachers think it's necessary. According to a presentation that I went to in 2011, March this year, at the National Federation of the Blind Nevada chapter meeting. It was done by the Clark County School District. The services that you get can only happen when your vision is 20/70 or worse. And you might not even get Braille. You might get large print. Which leads me to a presentation that I attended in 2009, done by Ron Gardner, National Federation of the Blind in Utah. This was the National Federation of the Blind State Convention in Nevada in November of 2009. The average high school student reads 8 words a minute in print and or Braille, with the page about 2 inches away from their face. One of the side effects of this reading large print and straining your eyes is headaches. Another side effect that happens when there's not enough education is 70% of the blind population, me included, are unemployed. This is a statistic that I've been hearing since around 2008, and sadly it has not changed. This is, again, because of the Braille illiteracy in our blind community. So, in conclusion, I have discussed the problem that we're having in our education system and the fact that we need some more teachers to teach Braille, some more really good teachers in our education system for the statistic to drop. So, again, close your eyes and try and read the printed page in front of you. Can you do it?